Welcome to Movie Mayhem. Here it's a Spiritworks Cinema where we watch all the movies. Today we're doing another series/director review of Maniac Cop. This is William Lustig's trilogy. Got the synopsis release of the first one, and then Blue Underground, Lustig's company, put out 2 and 3. Finally, 3 is released uncut. So what is Maniac Cop? A Dirty Harry-esque cop, a good guy, almost gets like Serpicoed, and he's set up by the dirty judges and get sent to prison and murdered in prison, so he comes back. For whatever reason, now he's completely corrupt and crazy, so he's basically like negative cop in the first 2 movies, where he ends up saving the criminals and stuff. So in the first one, the legendary Bruce Campbell is, he's a detective, and effectively he's set up to take the fall for what the Maniac Cop is doing, and he's framed for it. And his girlfriend gets drug into this, and she's his only scapegoat, so the Maniac Cop is after killing her. Now these aren't... One thing I really like about Lustig, and the reason I have a director section for him, is he's really good at spending very little money. It's kind of, kind of sad he didn't do more movies. I think he kind of just got tired of the bullshit. But he can take very low budget movies and they don't look it. I mean, all of these are extremely low budget films, but they have the way they're shot, the way they're set up, the framing and the flow. They feel like a full, a larger budget film. And that makes them much nicer to watch. And they're engaging. You got Bruce Campbell being Bruce Campbell, so that's always amazing. Raimi shows up in it, and the other Raimi brother is in the third one, I think, because they were all friends. With Maniac Cop, it's not a slasher film. It really isn't. It's kind of... I like to think of it more of an action exploitation kind of film, more in that line, because there are some good scenes of violence, but it's more action-based. These aren't really just slasher films at all. And it's... if you've seen Maniac, it isn't this isn't a slasher film either. He delves more into the psychological aspect of a serial killer. So you're not really going to get just generic slasher, maybe outside of Uncle Sam, with Lustig's movies. And in this, the action scenes are great. The shooting scenes are great. And of course, there's a burn scene in each movie. And each one of them, I swear, gets better. The physical burn stunts in these movies are worth watching them for that alone. It's not something you're going to see much now, if ever, because they do it all with CGI. Why risk burning somebody? But when you're really setting somebody on fire, there's a lot of work involved in that, and the stuntman better be good. So, the first one, you've got Campbell. Very, very cool. Fun. It's a fun flick straight through. I'm gonna say the first one is the best of the bunch. I mean, mainly because that's Bruce Campbell. Then you got the second one. Campbell's character ends up going away, and the only criticism I'm gonna have is both 2 and 3 flashback and give you a good anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes of nothing but repeat scenes from 1 and or 2. Okay, I get it, you're padding the running time, and that's fine, with a lower budget movie. 2 picks up, and he's definitely much more of a zombie this time. In the first one, it's kind of eluded that he didn't actually die. But by the second one, you're pretty sure he must have died, but they never really confirm that he's a full-on zombie. So, in this one, again, he's going through, and the girlfriend of Bruce Campbell reprises her role. And we meet, what is the actor's name? Great guy. Robert Davi. He comes on. He's more like he's like an active, Dirty Harry-esque kind of cop. And he originally suspects her for having a hand in all this, and they follow around. Eventually he finds out it's the Maniac Cop. And then we get into a little bit of a Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger-esque concept here, where they want to go basically clear his record so his soul is free and whatever, and give him a proper burial. This has a killer scene in the, again, the burning scene in the prison, where the guy's just walking around forever on fire, and he picks up another dude and he sets him on fire. I mean, just the planning and execution of such a good physical stunt. Again, watch it for that. There's some great shootout scenes in the police station. Very good squibs and blood splatter. Very fun in that respect. At the end of the movie, they think they get rid of Maniac Cop by giving him a proper burial. So, of course, you got to end up with a Maniac Cop 3. Now, funny enough, this is still credited as Alan Smithee directing it. And my understanding is Lustig left the movie. I believe he talks about it on here, too. I need to go... I need to rewatch it. I saw a documentary on this on the older DVD of it. This has got a better one on here because Lustig produced this one. And I think I picked up the end of the movie. So this, however, is the unrated version. Now, I know the original version was missing... So it got an NC-17, and when you watch the unrated version, you'll laugh, because there's no... I mean, again, this was 92, when the MPA was in full force of their bullshit. There's no reason for that kind of rating. I mean, they were rating the same scenes that were taken from Maniac Cop 2, which was rated R. Those same scenes in 3 were getting NC-17. I mean, if you're not going to have a consistent rating system, there's no point to have any rating system. But at any rate, you get to see it here, and it's good because there's some nice gore in this, some good splatter. I mean, it's mostly squibs and stuff. But again, we have another awesome burn scene. He's driving the car on fire for half the half the end third act is just him on fire. They honestly should make, Maniac Cop 4, Maniac Cop on fire, and just have him on fire the whole movie, because it's really entertaining when he is. So Lustig left this movie, and at this point he comes back, some weird dude resurrects him with some kind of thing. They never really explain it. There's a bit of jumps, and I can see, where there was some confusion in it, and it is definitely the weaker of them. Outside of the burn scene, there's really not a lot going on in this one in particular. Some of the main storyline is kind of confusing. You don't have the girl anymore because she's not around, but we have a new blonde girl which looks almost similar to her, so it's like, what was the point of that? I don't know, you're missing the characters. Like, from the second one, you had the crazy bad guy that befriended the Maniac Cop, and that was kind of cool. And this one, again, he's back to killing bad guys, apparently. But most of the characters are kind of forgettable. So, if you're going to watch them all, sure, watch 3. Just, again, for the burn sequence alone, it's worth watching it. That's great. It's so different, and it's something you don't get in most movies at all. I mean, you get short burn sequences at best, but that's a triumph to the stuntmen. Rating them, obviously, even in numerical order, that's how they go. I'd give the first one a good 7. Second one goes down to a 6.5, not as good. But, Maniac Cop 3, as far as a movie, I can only really give it a 5. Interestingly, the 2 and 3 are not Lustig's best work. I mean, he's kind of had a nice variety of film, and like Maniac is absolutely amazing. Vigilante, also a fantastic film. And then some stuff that never got released, like Hit List. It's a really cool film. I think these are more... I really feel like Maniac Cop 2 and 3 were done more from a financial standpoint, and it's kind of like, where do I go from here? And I think he did a good job with creating that. So that is the Maniac Cop series and our first video on William Lustig. Let me know anybody else you want to see, any other series. We got a little queue of various requests backed up here. We'll watch them as we can get to them, and we'll see you here next time on Movie Mayhem.